I saw this band called the Geierschwarzenhaufen.
In a castle.
In a castle in Germany to make a change, because that was my hobby, to stay in castles.
So it's all your passions right
Yeah.
there that ticks every
And
box.
they came in and they're playing all these authentic instruments, and I went, I want to do that. And the acoustic guitar is something. I even said to them, I said, do you want a guitar player? And they said, no. And I thought, this is a fantastic underground world. I'm used to playing to 200,000 people, but it's just like people are yelling, screaming, they're all drunk. It's all about running around the stage, yelling and screaming. What they're doing was they were playing to 10 people, but it was so much more meaningful.
It was a dream come true that I never realized that I wanted to come true in the first place. I think my first obligation to Ritchie was to be there for him as a friend and to be more supportive more than anything else. And then when we slowly evolved with this project, relationship-wise and musically, that became the dream come true. Everything together was the dream come true. It wasn't just that we got together and this was what I wanted to do, was sing for a band. I never thought about that before.
I was terrified. I had only done little theater productions when I was a child, so age of 4 going to like maybe 12, and then after that I was in a group, like a crowd of people in chorus and things in school. I was a closet singer. I would only sing when people were not around. I have a friend of mine who loved my voice, and she used to tell me, okay, sing this song, I'll look out the window so you don't think I'm looking at you.
You two met. What year was it?
1989.
89.
89. 18.
1889.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was 18.
Yeah.
She was 16. I used to have my roadie call up radio stations and say, Deep Purple would like to do a game of soccer against you if you feel like playing a charity. I go, oh, yeah, of course. And we'd go, look, hey, take it easy. We're older guys, Purple. So, don't bring out any ringers. And of course they wouldn't, but I would, And we usually win and we played BAB, which is, what does that stand for? Bob?
I have no
Buckman?
idea what it stood for. It was the #1 arbitrated rock station on Long Island, so
Yeah,
it was
very
pretty
big
good.
station.
That's who you were with.
Yeah, I was interning there. I was there for a year and a half,
Yeah.
trying to find my path. He signed an autograph for me, and he looked up at me and he said, in that very classic English accent that I'm sure you're familiar with, you're a very beautiful girl. And I went, oh, that's nice. And that would have been my Ritchie Blackmore story, that he said I was beautiful. And that was enough at that point. And I said thank you, and I walked off the field. And he sent his roadies through the crowd to find out who I was and asked me to meet him at a pub later. And so I did. I brought a friend of mine, and we went to the pub, and we talked all night long about everything from paranormal to spiritual to historical things to music to, we hit everything, we checked every box, and it was so interesting. It wasn't the typical guy conversation I was used to having at that point. And he was fascinating. He would ask me to come up to his home. At that point he was living in Connecticut. So I went up to his home and he would have a party. If Ritchie's going to take out the guitar or give a little bit of himself at a party, he wants everybody to give a little bit of themselves as well. And he doesn't care if it's going to be a poem, a song, a dance, a juggling act, whatever you do, but you have to expose a little bit, of your heart if he's going to show himself as well. So he asked me, all right, what can you do? I said, I can carry a tune a little bit. So he started playing Theme from Mahogany. And so I started singing with him. And he loved it. And then he went into Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And he loved my voice. So it's interesting, that's when we first started singing and playing together just for fun, just strictly not ever having any project in mind for the future, just sitting around the house and playing. For me, it's very different than the appeal for Ritchie. Ritchie is very into the historical accuracy of it. He loves kind of like really getting back into how people, the hardships and the purist aspect of it, and much more as far as the minstrels are concerned, and even people doing architecture and building, and so he's really more into that. I'm more into the sort of fantasy visual of the whole thing. I like the idea of it, but I don't think I would want to live back there. I like sanitary conditions of now, and I like my heating, and I like my air conditioning, stuff like that. But you can't really kind of beat the romance of that time, even if it is a fantasy. We're kind of pioneering a musical genre. I mean, we've got Renaissance music, medieval music, meeting modern day instruments, but still incorporating olden instruments, trying to really keep the ghost or the spirits of that era still present while not making it too out of touch for today's people to enjoy, because it's still melodic and it has up-to-date lyrics. And again, we're still kind of learning as we go along with all of this stuff.
There are a few bands that are very similar to us that are starting to get into this stuff, which is medieval, Renaissance based, crossover, folk, ballad, you know.
Really, but you know, now he's playing nickel harp, hurdy-gurdy, he's doing different tunings, mandolas, mandolins, so now when he goes to play something, it's coming out completely different, and so it's lending it to, it's taking him to different places, whereas on the electric guitar, he lived and breathed it for so long that he was so used to it. The whole point of art or anything creative is that it's not supposed to be in a box, right? It's not supposed to fit very neatly into a box.
Yeah.
So the whole point about artistic expression is that you're supposed to have that freedom to do anything whenever you want. So to have a genre goes exactly against those principles, you know?
Yeah.
So when everybody says, oh, how do you describe your music? You can't really describe because it's a little bit of everything. It has that variety of a little of everything.
You know, I just feel like this is just, it's such a journey. I don't ever feel like we've kind of gone to the peak or the pinnacle of what we can accomplish, because as humans, I feel like we're really, and as artists, we're changing, we're evolving all the time. I can look back at every Blackmore's Night album and see the growth from each individual album. It's like, for me, it's like a scrapbook in time of our lives, not only together as a couple, as a romantic couple, as a working couple. You know, you see the different people we've had in the bands, but even individually as artists, lyric writing or instrumentalists. Ritchie now, you know, a couple of albums ago, I think it was on Secret Voyage, picking up the nickel harp and working that into certain things, which is great because he can now, whereas he might, if at that particular moment he might have exhausted all of his ideas on guitar, he can now pick up a completely different instrument and say, oh, I wouldn't have come up with this riff if I was doing this. You know, now I'm doing, you know, he's playing a nickel harp or a hurdy-gurdy, and it leads him into whole new realms on writing. So, each step just feels like a new step for the journey. It's like a new color, a new flavor, a new taste.